Hi everyone, welcome to another After Sunset Sunday. I am glad you're here. My name is Tammy, I'm the Siberian Wind. Thank you for joining me tonight. We are going to be working on the 365 quilt, and I don't remember if I've got the link in, I don't remember if I got the link in the description, but we are going to put it in the chat so you guys have that. If you want to join in on the 365 quilt, you can go sign up for it. And it is by Catherine Kerr or Catherine Kerr. I'm not assuming again that Nightbot is working as well. I don't know what's going on with my Nightbot, so I do apologize in advance. It should be working, but things are weird tonight. Things are very, very weird. We've got a lot of wind out there tonight, and I actually do have my window open. So if you hear background noise, that's what's happening. So I do apologize. I am going to say hi to everybody in the chat. Welcome in, Susan. Hello, Kathy from My Hobby Home. Thank you for being here. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Judy. Hi, Nanette. Welcome in, ladies. There's Jess. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, right, Kathy. She said it's not just yours. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Welcome in, Rita. Glad you are here. Thank you so much for being here. So, as I put my mouse over something and all kinds of things happen. Welcome in, Ollie. Glad you're there. Glad you're here with me. Susan says, I hope you're well and good. It seems everywhere has been having problems with Nightbot. I'm not surprised. I did have a couple of problems and had to re-sign back in the other week or earlier this week. And so that's why I haven't been pushing Nightbot too hard. But, you know, we can keep trying it throughout the live and see if it pops up. You know, we're just going to hope. Just remember, only 3 months of 365 are available at a time. So at the end of March, January will start to become unavailable. Oh, good. Thank you for letting me know, Nanette. That is good to know. Welcome in, Shelly. Glad you are here. Yes, right. Hello again is right. So yes, thank you, Nanette, for pointing that out to me. You guys, if you sign up for the 365 quilt, as of right now, we are in March. At the end of March, January will start becoming unavailable. So when we get into April, January will start becoming unavailable. So you'll have to wait until you get through the year to get back to January. So thank you, Jess. I appreciate it. She said, here we go, Tammy. Thank you. Welcome in, Terry. Glad you're here. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. There we go. There we go. This little box up here, that is the block that I'm about to make. I can't give you any measurements. So I know what the steps are. So I'm going to work on that here as I'm working. So what the first step, if you're looking at the diagram, you've got three A's labeled and then you've got B and C. The first, yeah, that is the block, Rita. Yes, it is. So the first part is taking my A, which is this little black and white piece. I've got four of these in my hand, so it's not an exact size. And then these are my B's, and I'm going to sew a B to the top of every one of these, and then we'll sew a C to the side, and then we'll miter the corner with the rest. Okay. Welcome in, Rayanne. Glad you are here. Yes. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you. She says hello, everyone. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. Um, awesome. Nanette says she'll sew on hers March 24th with me. Thank you. This one is welcome in, Terry. Glad you are here. This is March 17th. That is how far, that is where I'm at right now. So I am just 8 days ahead of the actual day that this block comes out to everyone. But that is because I have this left over from 2016. Yes, right, Katie? Part 3 of the Sunday Triple Play. Glad you are here. So yeah, this is, I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch away from the edge and sew my seam. And then I will pick up and do the next one. This is not one that you can just sew right down, like chain stitch or anything like that, because you do have to pick up and put back down. Like it's not a straight through. Nanette says hers too. She started hers in 2016 as well. So I do have my iron set up so you guys can see my iron. So when I go to press something, I can show you where I'm at. So I finally have it set up. And thanks for the car horn. Yeah, I finally have it set up so you guys can actually see a little bit more of what these are and what they're going to look like. This block is, I believe, a 6-inch block, if I'm not mistaken, or 6-inch finished. The other blocks that I have cut are for 3-inch finished, so they're going to be smaller blocks. So you're going to have a good mixture of 3-inch blocks and 4 or 6-inch blocks. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of other things in amongst all of this. Oh, yours is 3 inches for the 17th? Okay. I don't think mine is. I don't think with these sizes that it can be. I can't, without scrolling, I can't look at it. So I don't know. So I will have to see. It might be 3 inches, but it really looks kind of big for that. So we'll see. We'll see what this comes out. So every year when Catherine Kerr, if anybody knows the correct pronunciation, tell me which way is it. Is it Care, like K-A-R or C-A-R-E, that pronunciation? Or is it Kerr, like you incur something? You incur a charge. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, and it actually is bugging me. Oh, for the 24th, yours is 3 inches. Okay. I haven't gotten that far. I think I got all the way through the 20th cut. I think that's what I've got cut. 17th, 18th. Yeah, I've got through the 20th cut. So we're going to see how many of those I can put together today. This is definitely the most detailed one because it is all the mitered seams. Second pronunciation, so Kerr. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm glad somebody knew. English is confusing. Even if you do speak English, English is confusing. Just saying. Just saying. All right. So when I do this, what I've got so far is, welcome in, Mona. Glad you are here. So what I've got is my square sewn to my rectangle, and I do have it sewn. I started a 1/4 inch away from the edge of my piece here. So I'm not going to worry about pressing this just yet. I'm going to go ahead and go take my other piece and sew it up here to and I'm going to leave the extra hanging over. So what's going to happen, done seam ripping party time. Yay! Fantastic. Yeah, you were seam ripping earlier, weren't you? So my next piece is going to go here. So I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch, stop a 1/4 inch away, and then I'm going to be able to miter this seam right here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be working on. So quilt ripping, yes, Shelly. Oh, I hate to have to rip, but I know why. I totally understand. And to be fair, I actually thought that I was going to rip, and I might still. The quilt that I was quilting last year to do as my show quilt for the year, to send off to the quilt show and, bask in the everybody likes it part of the quilt process, that part of the process where everybody oohs and ahs over it. I got a lot of the quilting done and decided no, I wasn't going to do it. Welcome in, Patricia. She says good evening. Good evening to you. Good evening. Glad you are here. And for those of you who are following, oh, welcome in, Linda. Glad you are here. And she's saying hi to everyone. She's grabbing everybody. 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 Okay. I don't know what has gotten into me today, guys. I really don't. I feel like I'm struggling. I feel like I'm struggling. But my mood is just off the charts. Hyper, and I don't get it. I don't know what's going on. Welcome in, Lori. She says I'm here. Hi, Tammy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I don't know why I'm feeling kind of hyper. It's probably gonna wear off. We're going to go with it that it will wear off. I have not had too much caffeine. So before you get there, welcome in, Jennifer. Glad you're here. Yeah, I don't. No, I've not had too much caffeine yet. Haven't taken my slow me down pills yet. But I haven't had enough caffeine yet either. So it's definitely not the caffeine. I'm struggling because I haven't been able to sew. Oh my gosh, Kathy, yes. When I cannot sew, I am really struggling. So after or while, so I got all this cut before Jess's live. And I already had this block cut, but I got the other 3 cut that I got cut. And so I got them cut beforehand, and then I had some extra time to kill. And then during Jess and William's lives, I was actually sewing a little bit on the Sedona Sunset candy corn related project. Oh, that's right, Kathy. She says she's trying to get her sewing room organized. That is a productive endeavor, but it definitely takes you away from sewing. Mona's saying hi to everyone. Thank you, thank you. You've been making kits for the D-Stash. Oh my goodness, great. Susan says she's been in a major funk. Oh yeah, absolutely. I get it. I totally get it. Welcome in, Katie. Greenland Quilter is here, guys. Yes, please hit that thumbs up like button. Please, 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 please. Especially since Nightbot isn't letting us do a lot. Let's still give all the videos we're watching that we want to like, give them a thumbs up. I appreciate it. I am planning, if I can, to go live a little bit for tomorrow. It'll be another 2-hour kind of live, just hang out and sew a little bit. It just depends on what time I get up and how I'm feeling. But I want to get more done on the candy corn Sedona Sunset project. And then I'm going to take things with me to my group guild meeting on Monday night. It's not a meeting, it's an open sew, but it's go hang out with friends kind of thing. And I'm going to take some stuff to cut. I've got a lot of projects I need to be cutting on. I need to cut my cow for next week's Fab Farm with Sean. My cow needs to be cut. My cow is definitely not ready yet. So I need to get my cow ready. And I need to cut some blocks for land that I love. And I've got some other trimming up stuff I need to do. So I got a lot of cutting I can do. And that's a really good project to take that's portable. Ali says that he's over on ISMAX, the International Sewing Machine Collector Society. Currently, let's see, looking into pre-1900 Singer machines and refining that history. Also, Canadian machines. Oh my goodness, Ali. Kathy says that she'll be at work. Well, you know what? Put me on and let me play, and you can always watch replay. That works. I answer inquiries with others on that site. Oh, fantastic, Ollie. Awesome. I still have not found that foot pedal, by the way. Joy says she hasn't done any sewing, been trying to get her house back in order after being sick for all those months. Yes, that is a task. That is a big task. All right, so here is one of my sewn pieces, guys. So this is backside of fabric, and that is my little square, my little A piece. And so that is, let's see, that one is B and that one is C. Okay, so both of them are sewn to that square. So I've got a seam here and I've got a seam here. Okay, so what's going to happen is I folded this in half diagonally, so it kind of just is tucked in there like a taco. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take and sew from my where the fabrics meet here all the way down to the corner down here. So I'm going to sew a diagonal along there, okay? If you need to draw this, draw it. Don't try to force yourself to do things that you're not comfortable doing, because that can be even more challenging. Kathy says that she may sneak some fabrics and cutting mat and rotary cutter to work with her. I don't blame you. I will not tell you how many times I have snuck fabrics and things into work with me. Oh, I had a table runner, a wall hanging rather. I had a wall hanging that I took to work with me, and that was the only place that I worked on it aside from picking up the fabrics and pressing them. Once I picked out the fabric that I wanted to use and I pressed it, I might rough cut a section of it to take with me. But everything else was done at work. So I would trace my applique design, and then I actually needle turn applique the whole piece. And it was so adorable. I don't know what happened to it. I think she got sold, maybe. I really kind of regret selling her, but I think she got sold. Okay, so I just unfolded my piece so you guys can see that beautiful miter here. Okay, so that is step one. So we've got the A square, B, and C sitting here in the same orientation as that top corner where they're labeled. There we go. And I haven't trimmed my seam allowances yet, so I'm going to now trim that with scissors. It doesn't have to be super exact, but now that I've got it that far, I can trim it and press it. Joy says she'd get more done if she'd stop taking breaks to watch all her favorite creators. Well, Jess said something the other day about watching people on 2x, on the 2x speed, to like watch their videos faster. And I've never done that before recently, and I just tried it the other day. I don't know if I'm going to recover. I don't know. Some people are okay to be watched at 2x speed. Some people are not. And I won't disclose who I did and did not watch. But some people are okay to be watched at 2x speed, and some just aren't. Oh, there we go. Got a burst of steam on it. So now it is nice and flat. Now, one thing that I'm not doing now that I used to do is at this point, I starched the daylights out of these things. So all of my previous blocks from way back when are heavily starched. I'm going to wait to starch these until I need to. Welcome in, Laura. Glad you're here. So I'm going to leave that one there. All I've got to do is miter corners on the rest of these, and all 4 of them will be ready. Susan says that she almost always had a project with her to work on during breaks at work. As a result, sold 3 different small quilts to teachers who saw what I was working on. Oh, fantastic. You know, I was really kind of shocked that nobody wanted to buy my little wall hanging. And guys, if I can find her again, like if I can't, even if I can't find my original wall hanging again, I may remake her because she was adorable. And I think I need her in my life. So even though it may not be my original wall hanging, if I find her again, if I find the pattern again, I will redo her. And you guys can come along for the ride. I will not redo her by hand, however. I did everything on her was done by hand, including the quilting, including the binding, including the hanging sleeve. Like everything was done by hand. And I do not have the physical ability to do that now. So I'm not gonna lie to you and say I can do that when I really can't. Oh, good night, Mona. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, I will not lie and say that I can hand do the entire piece, applique piece by hand again, because it's not happening. I do have a few other applique pieces that I am going to start filtering in. We're gonna get that shop hop quilt done first. But I have a lot of applique projects, so you guys are gonna get to help me tackle those applique projects. Laura says, "Hi Joyce, I'm doing well. PT is hard and kind of kicking my booty, but I'm hanging in there. I'm stubborn that way." Yes, you are, as all good quilters should be. All good quilters should be stubborn. We are a stubborn breed for a reason. All right, so now I've got 2 of those sitting there, and we're about to do number 3. So who all has things coming on this week? Welcome in, Lana. What? Hi, Debbie. I am working on 365. I don't know. Let's see if Nightbot has woken up. I doubt Nightbot has, but we're going to try it anyway. Just because I like the punishment of trying. And if not, you can Google the 365 Quilt Challenge. And it is Catherine Kerr that puts that challenge out. And everything is 100% free. Quilters are definitely different, but yes, we are. Yes, we are. Oh, and I think I ran out of bobbin thread. And I managed to get that whole piece sewn without running out. So we're good on that one. I just need to put a new bobbin in. I knew I was going to get low and be out soon, so it was good timing. Good timing. But I have spare bobbins. I loaded some spare bobbins because I knew that was going to happen. And I actually, if you ever think about it, when you are most of the way done with a spool of thread, if that's a color that you're going to use a lot of still, and you have another brand new spool sitting somewhere, when you get a whole bunch of empty bobbins, just go ahead and take that old spool and run that spool out, loading up bobbins, and you'll never play thread chicken with your top thread. You'll only play bobbin chicken with your bobbin. That's how I avoid playing bobbin, or that's how I avoid playing thread chicken, is I will run the rest of my spool out by loading up bobbins. And now that I think about it, I think I actually got rid of that spool that the thread was on, and I kind of disappointed because I had a count going from last year. So if I don't have it, I know I need to go. I know I need to make some kind of note so I can find out how many spools of thread I've used this year. Oh, all right. That one's going to work out. So we're going to trim away the extra. And let's see. Laura says she always has extra bobbins rolled up. I hate running out. Yeah, I do too. I do too. My big thing was I was sitting there with so little thread left on my spool. I was like, why am I gonna play thread chicken? Why not just go ahead and take some of these extra bobbins and wind them up with more of this same thread, reload my bobbins that way, and empty the spool that way. So I came home probably with like 10 bobbins. No, I take that back. Maybe like 6 bobbins wound, with the remnants of that one spool of thread. So I was able to use the last of that spool of thread, just winding bobbins and not having to play thread chicken. And I am finger pressing at the moment, so I do apologize. Did I press those? No, I pressed that out. Okay, we're good. We're good. I'm just making sure which direction I went. We are going to press like that. Especially with my embroidery projects. Oh my gosh. Yes. Embroidery projects are a pain to run out of bobbin thread on. Absolute pain. All right, that one may not like me, may not lay as flat, so we're going to pop it with a little bit of steam. Of course, that might be why my steam button broke on the last tire. Because I do that. I am accustomed to doing that. Oh, you're fine, Kathy. She says that she's in and out of the chat right now. She is trying to clean her sewing table off. As opposed to piling things onto it. Okay. I'm evil. I'm evil. I'm also, like I said, I don't know why, but I'm kind of hyper. I have no idea why I'm hyper. I don't mean to be hyper. I shouldn't be hyper. I've been awake a lot of hours today. So Joy says next time I go to Walmart, I need to get some more bobbins. Awesome. Yes. Yes, put that on the shopping list. I can't get mine at Walmart. Mine are, if I want them correctly weighted for the machine, I have to order mine or go to a Bernina store. And I hate that because they're so expensive, but it is what it is. Tammy, it is spring coming. That's why you're happy. No, we're good. It's not that. I'm a long way off from spring. Laura says she has played bobbin chicken. In fact, once I only had about 6 inches left. My anxiety couldn't handle that, right? Kathy says, lol, I just piled a lot on it that I pulled out because I am about to move my design wall from in front of my project boxes. Oh, that will be exciting to see. I can't wait to see. Oh, I guess I should trim my extra, trim my seam allowance pieces off because I don't need them now. I don't need the extra pieces of my triangles. So let's see. Kathy says she always plays bobbin chicken and doesn't even realize it, even though my machine shows me when my bobbin is low. So Beauty shows me when my bobbin is low. Welcome in, my sewing hobby. They say hi, everyone. If you can let me know a name, I will try to call you by your first name. Or whatever name you give me. We will go with that. Glad you're here, by the way. Glad you are here. We are cracking out a block tonight. Or we're going to try to. We're going to have a few more blocks to do, too. This is the last of that, the beginning of each of those. Everybody's saying hello. Absolutely. We are a friendly community here. We don't take, we aren't sour people, normally. We have our moments. Everybody does. Mina, welcome in, Mina. Glad you are here. And please tell me if I'm saying that correctly as well. But glad you're here. Glad you're here. Thank you for stopping in tonight. And I think I do have it set to subscribers, so that means you're a subscriber. So thank you very much. Glad you made it. So the block up here that you guys see, the blue and blue block that you see, is what I'm in the process of making. And I've got all 4 of the first step done. So it's going to go like that in the block. Once I have all the rest of this put together. Okay, good. I did get it right. Yay! I hate mispronouncing people's names. I do it all the time, but I hate doing it. I don't try to. Susan says that's on the feature I wish my Juki had. A chime or something audible to let me know bobbin is low. So Ricky does not have a bobbin sensor thing. Ricky has nothing. Ricky's basic. Ricky has like 99 stitches or something. Or I don't know. I don't even know how many stitches Ricky has. I haven't looked. I don't remember. But anyway, Ricky does not have any kind of extra sensor. So Ricky is not going to tell me, but I do tend to notice when Ricky's getting low on bobbin that the bobbin does get a little bit louder, and I hear a little bit more clanky sounds from the bobbin case area. And then when Ricky is empty, Ricky makes no noises. She just stops making noises. I mean, she still processes fabric and thread through, and the needle goes up and down. But there's just nothing happening on the opposite end. We still love you, Ricky. You're still a favorite. Ricky's my travel machine, so we love her. We love her. All right. So that gets all of these pieces with a piece attached to them. And let me see. I don't know if it told me a direction to press my seams. I'm trying to think if it will matter. And I'm not sure that it will. I'm not sure that it will. We're going to assume that it doesn't. That's what we're going to assume. I'm not going to press them open. I know I probably could, but I'm not going to. I did a lot of pressed open on a lot of blocks, and I do apologize. The wind is howling, guys. So that is what you are hearing in the background. You are hearing the wind trying to beat my window to death. All right. Okay. I cannot push it. I just need to press it. Who else does that? Who else tries to push their iron to push the fabric over when they shouldn't be doing that? My door is also clicking from the wind, so you guys might be hearing that too. Ali says, "Wow, yes, I can hear that wind." And this is normal. This is like at least once a month we have winds like this. We're gonna have this for the next, I want to say through maybe Friday or so. We're gonna have these winds, and then we'll get some more snow this upcoming weekend. All of our snow is almost melted, so all like the official snowfall total was 9 inches. Welcome in, Nancy. Susan says that her Viking had it, the sensor, but none of her other machines do. Suppose I'll get used to the sounds of my Juki someday. Yes. Ollie says he's guilty of pressing his fabric over with a steam iron. I'm glad I'm not alone. I get ahead of myself. I want things to go quickly and not have to fight with it. So I do kind of push it a little bit. All right. So now that I've got that done, now I see how it's going to go together. Okay. I remember now. Okay. So I'm going to take this piece first. And I'm just going to stack these up because these are going to go exactly the same as that one. Okay. So what's going to happen is this piece is going to go down here. Oh, and I guess I need to press, now that I know that, I actually need to press them the opposite way. And this piece is going to go here. And then we're going to miter that seam. None of my pre-1900 machines have a mud bobbin system. Oh, Ollie, you're a mess. You're such a mess. Oh, that's actually kind of funny. Oh, Ollie, are you into vintage irons? And I know I say that word kind of odd, so you can go ahead and hate me for how I say iron. Um, because sometimes I say it normal, or what everybody would consider normal, and then sometimes I say it with kind of a southern twang. But I have a couple. I have a couple of vintage irons, and I haven't ever heated either of them up. And I kind of want to, but I also want to do it someplace where it's going to be safe if the iron like catches on fire or something, because they are really, really old. And I believe both of them are actual steam irons. So they have like where you can add water and then squirt the bag or something to put steam onto your project. I need to pull those out. I don't have a lot of like extra machines, but I do have a couple of irons. Ollie says he does have antique irons. He wants one of those heavy Taylor ones, but the ones for sale are too far away. Shipping is outrageous. Yes, vintage irons are heavy. They are incredibly heavy. That's another reason I only have two of them. I used to have them in my curio so I could see them in their boxes. Oh no, I don't have one of the coal ones. No, these are all plug-in ones. They're not that vintage. They're not that vintage. Okay. So now that I've got these pressed the right direction and they are incredibly hot. So what's going to happen is I'm going to line this up right there with this seam matching this seam. I'm going to nest those seams and then I'll come back and do that to all of them and then we will miter the seam. So I'm going to take all four of these pieces. I'm only counting three. So what did the fourth one is over here. I didn't have to press it twice. I only have to press it once. I got it right the first time. So we're going to press that. There we go. Got a little bit of steam out of it. We're going to turn the steam off right now so it doesn't keep drinking my water. Katie Crafts, welcome in. I still screwed this up. I still screwed up I only screwed up on, no. I screwed up on all of them. Oh well. We're going to finger press. The ones I have uses a trivet and had it for my old wood stove. Oh, gotcha. Oh, no, I do have these right. I'm overthinking, guys. I'm overthinking. Katie says that she feels a food coma approaching. Pork roast and veggies. We actually had pork. Was it last night? I think it was last night. And we had sweet peas and au gratin potatoes, I believe. I believe that was last night. I want to say it was last night. Because last night I didn't have an official live. No. Friday night. I did have a live. Well, I had Williams live I was trying to catch, but I didn't make it home in time to get on. Really and truly didn't make it in time. But I tried. Because I was out and about yesterday. Out and about. Oh, you know what? I sewed this one on the wrong side. Seam Ripper. Who wants to sing the Seam Ripper song for me? Because I'm not singing it. So, I'm going to show you guys what I do to seam rip. Because you really don't see me seam rip very often. I usually double and triple check things before I sew them. But this time I didn't. New channel, right? Yes, I am a new channel for you, I think. Okay, so I've got my seam ripped. There you go, Molly. So what I did is I pulled every third stitch, like I just sliced into it. So I'm going to take the thread from the back side and just pull that thread out. And my pieces are separated and there's no fabric stress. Okay. So if you need to rip, and especially if you're working with older fabrics or fabrics you're not sure of the content, putting less stress on your fabric is a wise choice whenever you can do that. Oh, there you go. Lana's got the whole song. It's like she's got the whole world in her hands kind of song. She got the whole seam ripper song. And I am not singing it, Lana. I'm glad you sang it for me. Thank you. Now everybody in the chat who reads it is going to sing it too. If you guys have not checked out Laura Lynn over at Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, she is the one who has penned the seam ripper song that we all know so very fondly. Good trick, Tammy. That's what I learned with the conservation group. Yeah, when you start going in with a seam ripper and you rip the way that we typically do nowadays, with that same kind of mentality, you are going to possibly rip into your fabric, or you're going to weaken your fabric. If you are just, you're fine, Kathy. I had to pull my seam ripper out. That's what you missed. And Laura Lynn sang the seam ripper song. So Lana put the seam ripper song in here for us. Laura Lynn is fantastic. Ollie's been watching her for over half a decade. Yes. She is such a great creator. Yes, Shelly, that's fantastic. See, nobody taught me how to seam rip this way. Everywhere that I've learned to seam rip has been like pushing the seam ripper through and, yanking at the stitches, like pulling it open and trying to rip the stitches. But yeah, no, I don't do that ever. I just go in, I slice the stitches on one side, and then I go in and just pull my thread on the opposite side, because it almost feels kind of magical when I do it. Like when I pull that thread out and then the fabrics just fall apart. It just feels so magical. And if I'm going to do something that I really don't want to do, like, seam rip, I might as well enjoy it a little bit. Shelly says she sings Laura Lynn's song all the time. Oh, Laura Lynn and friends are going to be on The Price is Right this week. Oh, that's right. That's right. Because when she was in California, she got to go be there, and so they're going to broadcast that. That is so cool. So very, very cool. So how many are going to sit there and go, I know her. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. I've never been on anything like that. The closest thing is being a guest over at Sean's channel, probably. I'm just not one of those popular people, and I'm not a popular kid. I don't fit in. I'm just the outcast that wore cowboy boots when cowboy wasn't cool. I was a cowgirl when cowgirls were. Yeah, I was country. That's what it is. I was country when country wasn't cool. My hubby likes to watch Mom and Pop. Yes. So I don't watch the cross stitch ones because I usually it's not a good time for me. Like, I just have never caught it and been able to sew at that time for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the midweek or I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But I've never been able to catch that and watch that. But I definitely try to catch Saturdays when I can. Kathy says, I'm with you, not a popular kid. Oh, you're more popular than me. I'm still at hovering around 700 right now. You're a popular kid. Kathy says, I'm quirky and just like to sew, cook, and garden, right? All right, so this is what we've got. I'll show you right here. This is what we've got so far. So I'm not going to worry about pressing this just yet because I still need to put the other side on here. And because we already have all those prepped, I'm just going to go ahead and take all 4 and go ahead and sew them. So we're going to sew them down with a 1/4 inch, stopping a 1/4 inch from the end. And then we'll come back and we'll miter all 4 of them, and then we'll be able to start assembling them together. Susan says, I ended up without knowing being on Good Morning America while at Mount Rushmore. Oh my gosh. That's fantastic. Well, okay, that's fantastic if you're okay with it. Let's put it that way. Were you okay with being on Good Morning America? That would be crazy, right? Like if you didn't know and like you really didn't want to be on something like that, that would be kind of creepy. That'd be very, very creepy. I don't think I've been on anything before. I think my mom has, maybe. I don't know. But I know I probably have not. My husband has. Welcome in, Denise. She says, I will be watching PIR as one of my daily rituals. Laura Lynn said her show is airing March 12th. Awesome. Oh, Price is Right. Yeah, is one of your daily rituals. Awesome. I'm so happy for her. That's such good news. She is just such a sweetheart. Absolute sweetheart. And by the way, Denise, welcome in. Glad you're here. And Teresa, hi, lady. Welcome in. Glad you are here. Are you getting the wind we're getting here? You're probably not. You probably have more snow on the ground than I do. Kathy says, hello, Teresa, so we meet again. Y'all are so funny. Let's see. I only found out 3 days later when I got the call and text that thought it was Rapid City Station and no one would know. Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. Well, at least you knew you were on TV at one point, even though you thought it was local and not national. Oh gosh. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm glad we're getting some of this done too. Like this is, like I can get distracted working on these, and I think that's part of the reason that I stopped working on them for a while. Other than just life happens kind of stuff. I think it was, also the getting distracted while I'm working, because who wants to worry about it. Yeah, yeah. She's talking about Rapid City, but she was at Mount Rushmore. We had lots of wind earlier, says Teresa. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, ours is here now, and I think it's supposed to be here till like Thursday or Friday. Like we're gonna have prolonged winds, but that's normal for us. That's very normal for us. Thankfully, it's not as cold as it has been, so that's nice. It's kind of hard when the wind is really cold, like we're in below freezing temperatures or something, or negatives. That's when it's really hard. Yeah, Rapid City and Sturgis aren't that far away. They're like, what is that, like an hour and a half away? Or is it less? I can't remember. No, it's less, isn't it? Because I have driven. Where have I driven from? I don't remember, but I did go to Rapid City. We were in South Dakota. Maybe it's like an hour. I don't remember. I'd have to drive it again. It's been a little bit. It was last summer. Mount Rushmore is next to Rapid. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. I haven't been to Mount Rushmore yet. That is kind of on our list. But it's, kind of an extended list. We have a lot of things we have not done yet since we've moved up this way. But we are a whole heck of a lot closer now than when we lived in Alabama. If we wanted to go visit Mount Rushmore, it wouldn't have been just like, a day and a half trip. Welcome in, William. Glad you're there. Glad you're here. I can't talk tonight. I'm too hyper to talk. I am too hyper to talk. I have almost all of my triangles sashed, but I don't have the rows sashed, and I don't have them cut apart. Oh, I forgot. Okay. I just realized something, guys. I'm using the foot pedal from Beauty, which also works with Ricky. And the foot pedal from Beauty has an extra feature where you can just tap it and the needle will go up or down, regardless of the rest of the machine settings. And I keep forgetting it has that. So I tap it and the foot pedal goes up or goes down. And I gotta fix it. All right, so this is what we got right now. So we've got one seam left to go. So what's going to happen is I'm going to do the same thing we did before. I'm going to flip it to the back, and we are going to match our seams up along here. So we've got the rest of our pieces in here like a taco. It's folded up like a taco. And so we are going to stitch from our fabric here to our corner because it's sized correctly for that. If it isn't, you just need to mark a 45-degree line. Susan says a park ranger asked me if my visit had been first time. I said yes, and she said the reporter would like to talk to you about it. So I went ahead and was interviewed about my visit. Oh, that's fantastic. And then you had no idea it was national. Oh, goodness gracious. At least you got asked. You know, if you didn't get asked for your participation, that's when I would have a problem. Right, Ollie? Ollie says, Susan, I hope you have a copy on videotape or other media. Well, she didn't even know it was going to air. But that is really cool. Mount Rushmore is big when you're next to it, but looks smaller from the viewing area. Oh, I bet it does. That's how most monuments and parks and all of that are. You think it's going to be massive and huge, and it's just not. And guys, I will tell you, I will caveat it. I live close enough to Independence Rock that I can go drive there. Like if I wanted to go there tonight, I could go there tonight. Like I could get there even after the live, I could get there before midnight. Okay. So I live under 2 hours away. And Independence Rock, I always had this picture in my mind from the school books. You know, when I was little, the Independence Rock was this big deal, like absolute big deal. If you don't know what it is, Independence Rock is the marking point that the early pioneers and settlers to the West Coast had to follow along with. So if they did not reach Independence Rock before Independence Day, July 4th, then they did not need to continue to cross all the way to the West Coast. So if they were going to California, Oregon Trail, going to Utah, whatever they were doing, they did not need to continue if they didn't hit Independence Rock by July 4th, because the weather was going to be really, really bad. Like they could not be predictable, or the weather was not predictable. The mountains were going to be snowy and iced over. Like it was just not safe. And I had these grand visions of what this rock was going to look like. And guys, by today's standards, I could just drive past it. Like it does not stand out any different to me than the rest of the landscape in the area. So I had no idea that that's what I was looking at. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. Let's see. Sure did, Katie. They were just starting the Native American one at that time, way back in 1983, I think, right? Laura says she was a small child when her parents took us to see Mount Rushmore. I would have loved to have done that as a kid. That was not ever on the family vacation agenda. We were usually going to visit family, and family lived close. Susan says, nope, no one taped it. Oh well, it was a great day. I got there shortly after it opened, and basically had it to myself. Weather was fantastic and clear blue skies. Oh, fantastic. That's the great thing is sometimes you have that amazing weather. It's so worth it. Katie says she worked at Custer State Park in 83. Friends worked at Rushmore. We went all the places not open to the public. Oh, I bet you did. I bet you did. Um, let's see. Crazy Horse is the other monument, and it is huge. I haven't seen Crazy Horse, I don't think. I don't know. I would have to look it up. I don't know that I've seen it. But don't quote me. Don't quote me. I don't know. But I don't think I have. I think I would know that I've seen it. I mean, I probably would, right? Um, yeah, right? It does sound awesome. So there's a place here. I mean, there's a lot of things we did not know about Wyoming. We did not know about the West. We did not know about the Midwest, if you want to call us that. I don't really think we're Midwest. I think we're more West than Midwest. But there's a lot of things I did not know that was not in my history books, that just was not covered. Casper was actually a pass through for a lot of people. So we have a um, interpretive center that is open to the public. It is free. Um, it is a great informational visit, and then you can come out on the patio. Oh, Crazy Horse wasn't finished when you were there, Teresa. Oh my goodness. Joyce says she took her girls to Rushmore all the steps in South Dakota in the 80s. We went every year for about 5 years. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I didn't get to go. I've never been to Mount Rushmore. Um, oh, that's very awesome, Ollie. Um, so I don't know that I've been to Custer's Battleground. I don't think I've been there. I know I've seen signs for it, but I don't think I've been there. Drive home, went to Devil's Tower, Little Bighorn. I have not been to Devil's Tower either. Amazingly enough, guys, I have not been to. Oh, Crazy Horse still isn't finished. Yeah, no, I haven't been to Devil's Tower. Now, Devil's Tower last summer got hit by a lot of hail, so some of the buildings around Devil's Tower were closed to the public, and I think the visitor center took a pretty big hit. So I'm not sure if it's been repaired yet. I haven't looked at any of the info about it yet, but I know last summer they got hit with a pretty bad hailstorm. So I don't know what their site looks like right now. It's probably funding, Teresa. She's wondering why Crazy Horse still isn't finished. It's probably funding. Um, a lot of state park funding or national park funding gets put on the back burner. That or they book with contractors that don't have or they don't set a timeline on when things have to be finished by. And so the contractors have whenever to finish it. Yellowstone is beautiful, says Teresa. Yes, I bet it is. I have not been to Yellowstone either. We have been to the gates of Yellowstone in Cody. We've been up there. It's everything that we saw was gorgeous. We did go to, there was a dam that was built, and there's like a whole information center on the dam that was built leading into Yellowstone. So we went through the information center there and went through all of that. We didn't have time to hang out and spend a lot of time, so it was what we had an option to do. Ali says he really liked Cody. Yes. The Legend of Devil's Tower says the bear is Bear Butte near Sturgis. The natives call Bear Butte Matopaha, and that's what we called our yearbook. Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. There's a place near Sturgis that we went, um, and it's so commercialized. We went there while we were in town, while we were in Sturgis and that whole area, and there was like some kind of backstory for that town too, and I can't remember what the backstory was for sure. Um, and this is why you don't. This is why you don't iron. You press because I stretched it a little bit. The bear made the scratches on the Devil's Tower. Can't remember what the bear was after though. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. See, I didn't know any of that because I haven't been. I have not been yet. It's on my list. It is definitely on my list. Um, we um, we drove to Du Bois. Du Bois has a museum, and I don't know when it was opened. So if you want to look it up, you're more than welcome to look it up. Du Bois has a museum, and the um, it's the Museum of War Vehicles, I think is, or something like that. It's all about the vehicles that troops have used throughout the years. Some of the newer ones that my husband has used were not in the museum. Like they're not old enough to be in the museum yet. But there's like a whole section on Vietnam. There's a whole section on World War II and the Korean War. I mean, there's like crazy lots of information. And they let you check out a scooter to roll around the museum in because you actually need the scooter to make it through the museum. It is that big of a trip. All right. So this is how this is going to go. Those 4 pieces go together. So we're just going to sew the 4 patch. How's that sound? I can climb onto the top of Bear Butte. It's a sacred site for the Lakota. Oh, cool. I don't know that I would want to climb necessarily, but I might let somebody with me climb. Take a picture of them while they're up there. I can't do as much climbing as I used to, so we'd have to plan it for a really good day. When Tammy's feeling really, really good. That would have to be the plan. All right. National parks I've been to: Mount Rainier, Yellowstone, Crater Lake, both sides of the Grand Canyon. I haven't been to the Grand Canyon yet. Bryce, Zion, Olympic, and Saguro. I believe I've been to Zion. No. But it is a volcano, New Mexico. And I'm trying to think for the life of me what the name of it is. But so many people have not heard of it, but it is part of the national park system. It's just not one of the 12 big ones. Yosemite is beautiful, says Katie. She's been there 3 times. Awesome. I don't think I've been to Yosemite either. My national parks list is, I have been to Scottsbluff. Whatever the national park is there. I've been there. Ollie says, I just tried contacting that museum. He has manuals that list the Singer machines they use, including special variants. Researching a 211 WSV 110 dual needle. I think it was used to sew the new in 1944 steerable parachute. Oh my gosh. What a crazy mess. So one thing that was in that museum, the vehicle museum in Du Bois, is they actually had some kind of I wish I could remember what it was. And maybe I did take a picture, but I don't have it. I'd have to look for it. But it was in a glass case, and it was fabric, and it was a banner of some sort. I don't think it was a flag. I think it was a banner. but just the detail and the stitching, I wanted to like stand there for hours. Yosemite and Arches are two that I really want to go to. I want to say I've been to Arches. That is in Colorado, right? Joy says she's been to Yellowstone and Mount Rainier. Katie says I could just sit inside the big forest of redwoods and sequoias and spend hours commuting there. It's so beautiful, and the size just make you realize how small we really are as humans. Yeah, sequoias are huge, huge. They make you feel really small. They really do. I haven't been to Yosemite, but that would be fun. That would be fun. I would enjoy going to some of the national parks. I would really want to do camping, like take a camper, and go do my trip that way, because I would really want to spend some time as I went through. All right, we're gonna clip my stitch here in the center so I can roll the Arches is in Utah. Okay, maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't know. I'm thinking. I feel like I have, but I couldn't say for sure. Sometimes it's hard for me to remember places I've been if I don't have picture proof, or if I didn't do it like on my own. Like if it was like a trip with someone, sometimes I have a hard time remembering things like that. So I will end up starching this block, just so you guys know. I'm not going to starch it right now, but I will end up starching this block. Just because it's a little picky. Redwoods are magnificent. Yes, Teresa. They are. Just going over Donner Pass. And we got to spend a night on Donner Pass. That was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. All right, so there is this block. So that is the block you are seeing up top there. So the next blocks are actually a little bit easier. They're a little bit easier. Okay. So let's see if I can. I gotta take you guys off of screen capture, so I do apologize. Let me see what the next one is. Okay, this one is going to be interesting. I am going to have to trim. This block is going to be a 3-inch finished block once I am done with it. Let me zoom in far enough so you guys can see it, and so that I can get all the instructions out of the way so you guys can't see those, because I'm not allowed to show you I'm not allowed to show those to you. So we're going to drag that out of the way and to reset screen. Oh, it's already set. All right, so we're good. All right, so this is the next block we're doing. That block looks nice. Love the combo of the red and black with the white bits. Yeah. So all of this quilt is red, white, and black. That is the entire quilt, because that's the way I'm doing mine. So I'm going to give you a little disclaimer about this block. This block is requiring 9/16 of an inch. Some of the other ones require 11/16 of an inch. It's like a crazy measurement. Do I cut my pieces that? No, I don't have a 16th measurement on my piece. So what I do instead of cutting that is I cut just a 16th of an inch up. So I cut the full 1/8 of an inch above where it's saying to cut, because I'm not going to we're not going to do that. We're not. So I'm going to have a little bit of trimming to do after this block is done, but I fully expected that. And this block may not come out looking exactly like that, because when I trim down to the 3.5, because it's going to have to be a 3-inch finished block, I may end up cutting off some pieces. Teresa says this makes me want to get my old photo blocks pictures, right? All right, so this is what my block is going to look like once it's put together, okay? So that is what we're going to do. So let's get into it. The nice thing about this block is it is just straight lines. That is all we are going to have to do. We don't have to do anything fancy. It is just everything's on point. That's the only difference, is everything is on point. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece B that's going to have a corner piece sewn to it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finger press a center in it. And when I line my triangle up on top of it, okay, so you may not be able to see my finger press point, so I apologize in advance, but I'm lining this point of my triangle up with my finger press point, so I know that it's centered. And we're going to sew that in, and we're going to do it the same thing on the opposite side because I can't web piece these. Ollie says, rolling on the floor, laughing, Tammy, doing a 9/16 is almost like doing a quilt in metric, right? And that's fine. If you want to do a quilt in metric, you absolutely could. And a lot of places do, especially outside of the US. But I am not into that. I am not here for that. That is not part of my repertoire. I do not have rulers for cutting that are metric. And I looked through all of my rulers. I do not have a single rotary cutting ruler that has a 1/16 of an inch. If I wanted to cut it at the exact measurement that they are telling you to cut it at, what would end up happening is I would have to mark a spot halfway between each of the 1/8 inch markings on my ruler, and I'd have to make sure that it is completely centered. And frankly, I don't have time for that. I could, but I don't have time for that. I'm not going to. Ollie says that he doesn't even have a rotary cutter for metric system. Oh, well, see, Canada kind of mixes. They mix systems. You guys mix the metric and the what is it called? Imperial system. Is that correct? Am I correct in that? It's imperial system. Because I want to say that's what it is. Is we're using the imperial system. Most people don't know that word, at least here in the U.S. We just know that we have the correct measurements. Welcome to American education, guys. Just welcome to American education. All right, so I've got both of those put together. So now what I can do is I can sew straight lines down, attaching pieces, and web piece this whole thing together. I'm going to web piece. It is imperial system, yay! See, I know a thing or two. I've seen a thing or two. Have you guys seen that farmer's commercial? It's not a new commercial. Cynthia says true. And Ollie's laughing out loud. I'm glad I'm making you guys laugh tonight. That's fantastic. You're joining me on the hyper side. I do not mind one bit that you guys are joining me. All right, Laura says, I bought the Creative Grids Crazy 1/8 ruler for a pattern. I use it for exactly one cut, then I cut everything to the nearest 1/2 or 1/4 inch measurement. There's now no way I deal with 1/16 of an inch. Yeah, right? It, you know, when it comes down to this, is Catherine Kerr going to come look at my quilt and look for this block and know that, right, Teresa? Well, see, okay. So there's some things that Canadians use that are the imperial system, and then there's some things that they use that are metric system. So believe it or not, they actually do use the imperial system more often than they care to admit. Are they going to admit it on the world stage? Oh, absolutely not. They are far too proud for that. I'm talking to you, Ollie. Far too proud. But I just can't. I'm not going to fool with a 1/16 of an inch. It is not going to happen. I've done it before, And I will almost guarantee you when I started these blocks back in 2016, I did bother with the 16th of an inch. I bet you I did. But I'm not going to now. I am far too long in my quilting career to think that I'm going to mess with that 16th of an inch. Because I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. Not happening. Ollie says there's Imperial Gallon, and the liter. We are all over the place, Tammy. Right? I know you are. You guys have a gallon. Now, technically, our gallon is the same as the Imperial Gallon. It's supposed to be. I'll put it that way. It's supposed to be. My door is just popping, guys, with this wind. I apologize. We do not have our heat on. It is 46 degrees outside, according to my computer. It might have been 50 on the patio earlier today in some places. I think that's what my thermometer outside said. But even with all this wind blowing, it is still 69 degrees in my studio right now. It got up to 72 earlier today. And I am not joking. I was literally sweltering staying in my studio. I was going, no, this is too much. Way too much. Okay. So we now have a web pieced center. So I will have a top and a bottom triangle to put in place, but we will come back to that in just a minute. So first thing first is we are going to press. So what I'm going to do for this bottom one is I'm going to press away from the center. And I'm going to press towards the center on this middle one. We've already pressed our little triangles on this row one direction or another. So I'm just going to press towards the center so everything will nest. And if it's easier for you to cut these apart and do it, absolutely do that. Absolutely do it. I will not be offended, and I don't is going to pick apart every single block, and they're going to find this particular one and see that you did not press it the same way that I did. You know, I don't think it's going to matter much. Okay, so now we have that pressed. So now all we've got to do is we're going to attach our pieces to the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top piece and I'm going to finger press down the center. And I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom piece. I'm going to finger press so I can line up my triangles. So we're going to line those up. We're going to go ahead and sew those first. And then also the rest of the rows. I could do it in any order I choose. This is just the order that I chose. It won't really matter when it's all said and done. It's all going to come out in the wash just fine. And we will quilt it however we need. So, let's see. Laura says, I can't remember the name of the shop right now, but I have oftentimes ordered from them because the meter is 3 inches longer than the yard and I don't pay sales tax and I get free shipping. Oh my gosh, Laura, that's fantastic. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. You might have to let me know because I might try that hack. Oh, I might have to try that. I'm all about saving a penny here and there. So I am taking through my local guild. Well, it's a quilting group, not technically a guild, but we're not going to split hairs over it. Okay, I'm just going to call it a guild. My local guild is having a sew day at the last Saturday of March, and I'm going to go. And I've got to pull scraps, guys, to go take to this sewing day because it's a specific project. So we're going to see. We're going to see if I take scraps or what I do. Because I don't know. I do not know. I signed up before I saw what the project was going to look like. And I'm not sure I'm really in love with the project. It's a free day. I don't have to pay anything for going. So I'm going to go, but I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. If you guys sign up for something and then you see the project after and you're not in love with it, what do you do? If you're not having to pay for it, do you still go? Do you bring your own project and say hi to everybody while you're there? Like, what do you do? What do you do? I'm not loving the project. Not loving it at all. So I'm gonna have to debate. I'm gonna be talking to some people about it too. But I don't know. Laura says my husband found it because he bought me a scan and cut. It was $300 less than my local shop with the exchange rate and everything. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. And your scan and cut came with the correct plugs for US? Because that's the other thing, is if you're buying from overseas, then I would be worried about the plugs. But if they're the right plugs, I don't see anything wrong with that then. That's very cool. Very, very cool. Bring your own, says Cynthia. See, I'm leaning towards that. I have enough projects. I mean, I could work on the April freebie project and go ahead and get ahead so I can show you guys what it's going to look like, because I'm going to need to do a lot of sewing to get ahead. I mean, I got other projects I need to sew too, so I will... Oh, it was perfect. Fantastic, Laura. So, Ollie, question for you. Do we have the same plugs here in the U.S. that you guys have there? Or are the plugs different between U.S. and Canada? Because I have no idea. I know I should know this. I know I should. But I don't. I don't. Alright. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to trim real quick so you guys can see this. Alright, so this is my sewn piece. I have not pressed the last seams out or anything. But I have all these extra little dog ears, if you guys can see those. I'm just going to trim them flush with the pieces around them. And I'm just going to do that with my scissors. There is no need to pull out the rotary cutter. Some plugs in Canada as the US. Okay, awesome. Fantastic. I would never have known. And I have no idea how strong the wind is right now. No idea. I need to get like one of those wind gauges. No idea. I need to get like one of those wind gauges to put on my window so that when I've got the window open. Oh, we just had 20-mile-per-hour gust come through the window. Could you imagine? Because that would totally be what would happen. Is like, you know, it probably is 20-mile-per-hour gusts, if not higher than that. We regularly have high wind days where the outer road around the mountain, because it is open terrain around it, it's shut down to high-profile vehicles and lightweight vehicles, because they will blow over. We are a high blowover risk location. All right, and because I don't think I have pressing instructions, we are just going to press them, each of the seams on one side towards each other, and then we'll press each of the seams towards each other on the next side over too, as I burn myself with the steam. I do that frequently, guys, so don't panic. It is normal. This ironing pad, this ironing table, so the fabric that you guys see, there's another layer of it underneath here, and then there's 1 or 2 layers of Insulbright, or is it Insulbright? Trying to think what I put in there. It's 1 or 2 layers of the reflective, like, silver ironing board stuff, silver ironing board, and then a couple layers of batting as well. Laura says, I just tell my husband that I want something and he finds the best value. It's a challenge for him and he has fun researching. I'm jealous. All right. So we now have our second block done. I'm not going to worry about trimming it up just yet. I will trim it up later. So that is block 2. So it matches this block up here. So we are going to go on and we're going to start block 3. I don't know if we're going to get it finished, but we're going to start it. So let me go take this down so I can update it properly, because I don't want to show you guys things you're not supposed to see, i.e. cutting instructions, because I don't want to get in trouble. And we are going to start, as I click on things accidentally. We are going to zoom in just a little bit more. This is also going to be a 3-inch finish. Hi, Tamara. She says, hello all. This is my first time here. Welcome in. Glad you are here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I greatly appreciate it. You are welcome anytime. You are welcome absolutely anytime. Okay, so apparently I am not permitted to zoom in the way I want to zoom in. I have to zoom in the way Adobe wants me to zoom in, which I'm not happy about. All right, let's go set this back up. Make sure that this is right. Yes, it is. All right, so this is the next block we're gonna do. Teresa says, Laura, my husband does that too. That's how I got my longer. Okay, Joyce, or not Joyce, Teresa. Can he start looking for me for one? I gotta ask. Oh, yes. Right, Kathy. She says, well, everyone, I must run. I quilt, so I must work to pay for it. Have a good evening, Kathy. Get some good sleep. Enjoy tomorrow if you can. I know it's a Monday, but you have petted some fabric, so you are ahead of the game. If you have not petted some fabric lately, go pet some fabric. Go pet it. All right. So you guys, what we're going to sew with. So the instructions told me to cut one long strip by so many inches. And I did not do that because I don't have a big enough piece. So I've got 2 pieces of each of these, and we're going to sew those together. We will press the seams towards the darker piece, and then we will cut it apart to make all the different checkerboard piecing that you see up here. So we're going to do it that way. That's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with this for first and foremost. These are tiny pieces. So in advance, if you are not okay with working with tiny pieces, this is a great way to learn how to become okay with it, because there's just no other way to do it. There's no other way to do it. When you're working with this many pieces, you're going to end up working with some tiny pieces. Now, because I'm going to take these apart, I'm going to cut them apart. Let me see. I can't see my backlight on my screen is really bright, so I can't always see the numbers. So I am lowering my stitch length below a 2. I think I'm closer to like a 1 right now, but either way, seriously lowering my stitch length. So when I sew these strips together and then I have to cut them apart, it's not going to come apart. Oh, thank you, Teresa. My husband's going to be so happy. He does all the decorations. He's got me set up for St. Patty's Day, which is in 8 days. Speaking of, today is National Meatball Day. In case you need any kind of inspiration, today is National Meatball Day. Tomorrow was important too, but I can't remember what tomorrow is. Who doesn't have loads of thin strips around, right? Well, a lot of people won't work with anything smaller than 1.5 inches, and that's kind of their limit. You got to be able to work with something smaller. You got to be willing to work with it. Teresa says me. Well, Teresa, anytime you are done working with, a piece, if you can cut a 1-inch square out of it, you can send it to me. So if you want to start a box or something, put it in that box, and when it's full, just ship it off to me. Right? Do not mind. I will send you my address. That's actually how I get a lot of my smaller scraps, is through people gifting me scraps to be able to do stuff like this with. And I really do enjoy doing that. I really do. I have a couple of mosaic quilts planned that need a lot of 1-inch squares. So, yeah. Oh, congratulations, Susan. She says tomorrow is her younger brother's birthday. Joyce doesn't have thin strips laying around either. Oh, gotta love it. Yeah, I do. I have lots of them. So the boxes that you see directly above my head, those totes right there, those are 1 inch squares only. And I have a lot of my scraps right now on the floor. Like I have my totes on the floor because I am going to need to go through them some more to cut more scraps for more projects. And so I'm slowly in the process of processing them. I've got a long way to go. Um, and I kind of took a detour with working on the candy corn Sedona Sunset kind of deal that we're working on. So I kind of took a detour working on that. But it is what it is, you know. I needed the break. I needed the recharge with it. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing with this strip set. We're gonna press it, and I do have more here than what I need, so I will have some extra left over. Because of the way this project is structured, I'm just gonna hang on to all of it because sometimes you're cutting some small stuff. And sometimes, you know, worst case scenario, I might have to piece a couple pieces together to make a bigger piece. And then I can cut it down to what I need it, you know, it's going to work. It's going to work. All right. So I know how many pieces I got to cut because I do the little bit of, you know, what I've got to do earlier. I looked at it. So I know my piece sizes. So I'm going to nest these together and we are going to cut at the same time. So that way I don't have to line up 2 different sets and cut the 14 different cuts I've got to cut. I only have to cut it once. You know, cutting once beats cutting 4 and 5 and 6 times. And I have a rotating mat right now because I did put the rotating piece on. And so we are going to use it to our advantage. And get my I've been dropping my scraps, like the spare threads and all of that. I've been dropping that over here, just dropping it off. And I've been dropping it on top of my rotary cutter, guys. So had to dig my rotary cutter out. All right, so I got my end squared up. And now I need 7 cuts because I need a total of 14 pieces. So my ruler is not long enough to do 7. My ruler is long enough to do 6. So I'm going to cut 6 inches off. I told you too much. I told you more than I was supposed to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then I'm going to move it down and do my next cut. So when you're cutting small strips, very, very small strips, if you will start with your largest number that you can do with your ruler, you can go ahead and line up your ruler with your largest number and then start moving it back as you cut those pieces off. So your ruler always is protecting the next pieces underneath. So yeah, we're gonna do it this way. We're doing it. All right, I'm moving my ruler around so I have better visibility. Let's see. There we go. Sometimes this Creative Grids ruler is hard to see, even. So, and I will caution you, if you're going to do a project like this, or any project that's going to be a long-term project, make sure that you are going to use the same brand of ruler the whole project. If you are changing the brand of ruler partway through the project, you may find that your pieces from 2 weeks ago don't match your pieces today because they were cut with a different ruler. It's a very real problem that not every ruler is marked exactly the same, or that you can use those same measurements. We would hope that they would all be the same, but they're not. Okay, so here's my scrap. Not a whole lot. Okay, not a whole lot of scrap. Okay. But that will go back into the bucket, which is over there right now, so I can't reach it. And we are going to swap back. So I've got my planning mat in front of me. And anybody want to take a guess how this goes together? Anybody? Any takers? Any takers? All right. And I'm going to cheat a little bit, so you know. Just so you know. All right. There's my outer pieces. So the way this goes together is you're actually going to sew all of your strip set pieces together in pairs. And for your inner piece or for your outer pieces, you're actually just going to sew an extra set onto each one. It goes together very, very carefully with love and care. I love it. Yeah. You're not wrong, Ollie. You're not wrong. We have to be very, very careful. I almost feel like we should have like a Bugs Bunny thing. Be very, very quiet. Or is that, oh, it's Elmer Fudd, isn't it? Be very, very quiet. I hunting rabbits? Is that Elmer Fudd? Did I completely lose my brain? Why is my... No, my machine is not wanting to needle down because it's being a challenge. That's alright. We'll make it work. Alright. So I'm just making sure I'm sewing them all the same direction. Not that it's going to matter because they're just basically 4 patches. It was Elmer Fudd. Okay. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Ollie. You guys are over there typing while I'm not even looking. Alright. We're going to go ahead and sew these as well while we're at it. No sense in delaying. I'm not used to this short stitch length for this project. It makes it challenging, guys. It makes it challenging. Alright. So I'm not going to worry about pressing these either just yet. We're going to cut off the first 2. If you look at the diagram, if you look to, we're going to leave left of C, the left side of C. If you see there's 3 sets there, I'm just going to go ahead and sew an extra piece on to the extra side of one for that one. And then same thing on the opposite side at the bottom. So right of B, if you want to call it that way. So both of those are going to have an extra piece. And that center section, I'm just going to sew it all the way together. And it's going to line up all the way. Welcome. Okay, good night, Joy. She says it's her bedtime. See you all around during the week. Good night. Good night to you. Thank you for being here. I am not far behind. My hyper is wearing off, guys. My hyper is wearing off. I still need to go pick up mail. So I really don't feel like doing it tomorrow during the day. I just need to get out of the house a little bit. So yeah, I still need to go do that. So we're going to go do that tonight. And then I am going to go live if I can sometime tomorrow. Don't hold your breath on exactly when. Oh, good night, Cynthia. Have a good night. She's headed off to bed too. It is her bedtime as well. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It is getting that kind of time of night. I think I just want to get out, though. I think that was my deal. I think that was why I was going to go get the mail. I was just getting out of the house. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if I feel like it when I get done here. We're gonna see. Since I can't go to Walmart anymore at midnight, you know? Walmart's no longer 24 hours, and it kills me. Because, you know, go walk around Walmart in the middle of the night. I husband's calling the dog, so I threw the bottle so my dog would go get the bottle. Okay, let's see. It's my husband's bedtime too, guys. I am up past my husband's bedtime. We're really doing that. Oh, not just yet. You made more pouches today, but you need to deliver tomorrow. They're so cute. Oh, fantastic. Make sure to take a picture. Make sure to take a picture. This is going to be a lot of pressing here in just a minute. We might actually finish this. Oh, I hope the customer likes them too, Cynthia. That would be a big bummer if they didn't. So I hope they do. I hope they do. That would be really nice if they do. All right, so we are at our last little seam, sewing all of these various little squares together. Sewing it as strips really makes a difference. I could not have done this if we had been trying to sew each of these individually. It would not have worked. And I do need to rip because I just realized I put some fabric underneath, like I folded some fabric back. And these stitches are super tiny. So we have to have our spectacles on to see them. I'm getting to that age. I do not mind admitting that I am getting to that age. That just means I'm accomplished. Okay. All right, can I roll it back? Can I roll it back? Nope, not yet. I got one more stitch holding up. There we go. Oh, little bitty stitches. When you decrease your stitch length, it makes a huge difference in holding these pieces together, but it does make it more challenging to rip, should you need to. All right, so that is now fixed, and it's going to look pretty, or it's going to look purty. It's going to look purty. That's what we're going to go with, purty. Okay, so this is going to be one of my outer side pieces. See this right here? That's going to be one of my outer side pieces. And it works. Let me unhighlight something so I can see what I'm showing you guys. There we go. I had lines in my screen. So it's going to be 1/2 inch finished pieces in there. Okay? Because these started out as 1 inch pieces. Now, I could, now that I've got these together, I could now open these seams and press these flat, which I think is what I'm going to do. So the original seams are nested back and forth, but the crosswise seams are going to be opened flat because it's going to just be so much more bulky if I don't. And we still have 20 minutes, so I'm good. We're doing good. We're doing really good. This will be fantastic. So I have one block that we will not have put together. So this will get me through March 19th. Done. And then we'll pick this up again after Sean's here on the 16th. We'll pick this up again the following week. And we will try to knock out some more blocks. So I may do a few without you guys, but I'm going to be doing a lot with you guys on the lives. Just because I want to see this project finished this year. That is kind of a goal. All right, so I got 2 little strip sets. Those are going to be my outside pieces. Too small for me to sew. I sure like bigger bucks, right, Ryan? They are tiny. They are so tiny. But the nice thing is, it's so rewarding to see them come together, because even though they're so tiny and you know you're losing a lot of fabric because you're losing 1/4 inch on all sides, so you're losing a 1/2 inch total on 2 sides when you put these together. So it can be a little disheartening that you're losing that much fabric, but at the same time, it's really rewarding to see them just shine. This block will completely shine. It's going to be tiny, but it's going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty. And I think the hardest part about this is that you do need to turn that stitch length down. I'm going to turn mine back up because I don't need it for the rest of the block. I just wanted it because these are going to be getting cut apart and all of that. So I'm going to finger press the rest of these real quick to make pressing a little bit faster, because I want to be able to get in there and get it all the way. Go all the way down. All right. We're going to come in here and press and do a quick press there. We're going to grab each of these little seam sections with the tip of the iron. And this is where, if you have a stiletto, it's a wise idea to use it. Stilettos really will make a difference when you get to this tiny of a piece. I regularly work with this, so this is nothing new for me. But if you don't regularly work on this, taking a stiletto or, taking extra starch or whatever you need to make it lay flat, then do it. Absolutely do it. You always do a fantastic job on small blocks. Thank you, Rayanne. I try. This is manageable. Like, if my whole design wall was, just these, it'd take me forever to fill up my whole design wall. I could sew forever and never fill it up, All right. So here's what's going to happen is I'm going to sew, let me grab my triangles, there we go. I'm going to take and I'm going to sew my triangles onto these smaller pieces. I'm going to flank them, if you will. I'm going to sew my triangles onto the smaller pieces so that it takes in the seam allowance. And then I will be able to match these up properly and sew them together. Now, if you look, you've got 3 on each side of the triangles as well. So that's how I know that my light red needs to go here, my dark red here, and then that is the exact opposite here, dark red and then light red. So that's how I know that that's what I need to do. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take both of these over, I'm going to sew that down, and then I'm going to sew the other sides down, and then we'll press that and then be able to attach everything. Now, the instructions may have had this lined up a little bit differently. Thank you, Tamara. She says very pretty. Thank you. The instructions may have had this labeled slightly differently, where you do these outer sections as their own blocks. Then you have the inner fore patch. I just don't see a reason to have an extra step, if that makes sense to you guys. If I can cut out an extra step, I'm going to do it. And there is going to be some trimming off on this block as well, because it is going to exceed the 3.5 inches square. And she tells you that it's going to need some trimming. She says that that's okay. But, it's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting to be getting to do this. All right, so start on my other side. We're going to go back the opposite direction. Okay, that goes that way, and this one goes that way. And it looks like they're both, we'll rearrange it later. I'm going to feed them into the machine the same direction that the other triangles are. With the same, square side to that direction. And we'll make sure I don't have to take stitches out. But again, I did increase my stitch length back to normal. So these won't be stitched in at the super tight, tiny stitch length that you want to use when you're stitching the 1-inch squares or 1-inch strips. If you don't decrease your stitch length when you go to pull or tug or anything, those stitches just pop out. They just pop out because there's nothing holding them. I mean, there's not enough fabric there to hold them. All right. So now we have this, which is going to line up perfectly. Okay. And we also have this one, and that's also going to line up perfectly. Go. So I'm going to press these seams out, because I'm not going to worry about which direction the seams are here, because those I pressed open. So I'm just worried about getting these triangles pressed one direction or another. And it's because there's so many seams in the pieced sections, there's no sense in putting more seams that direction. Just no sense in that. So now we have that, and all we have is 2 seams left and then trimming it up. And I'm not going to trim it up again. I'm not going to trim it up tonight, but I will trim it up later. And I'm going to line my seams up. It's not going to match exactly because I didn't nest my seams. And if at this point you want to flip seams to nest, which is what I'm going to do, you absolutely can. I want a little bit more stability in the piece, so I'm going to flip just those center seams that are going to hold these triangles in place. So it's not going to be, it's not going to be pretty on the back necessarily, but it's going to be functional. And functional is better than pretty. Functional and finish is better than pretty. I just want my seams to hold the block in place properly. So that's what I'm pushing the seams to nest them. So that's what's going to take me an extra second or two. What is the quilt you're working on tonight? It is the 365 quilt, the 365 challenge by Catherine Kerr. It is a free project. So if you want to go sign up, you absolutely can. Nanette was in here earlier letting us know, because I forgot about it. She's letting us know that when we start hitting April, January is going to start disappearing. So you can only access like 3 months at a time. That keeps the requirements for the server down. And I'm assuming, I don't know if that's the only reason she does it that way, but I'm assuming that also keeps everybody honest. So if you want to go sign up for it, go sign up for it now. And it is free, and you can download all of your blocks. I am working on March 19th, I think. I think this is March 19th. But I downloaded this in 2016. I downloaded all of my blocks. So I'm working from all of my previous, like I'm still continuing on the progress that I've already made. So I have all of the other blocks done so far up to this point. I'm just going to have a little bit of I'm just trying to get caught up enough at this point to be a little ahead, so I'm not falling super behind. So maybe I can finish it this year. In the meantime, I'm still working on temperature rings. I'm still working on Fab Farm. I'm still working on Sparkle. I got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak, with all of my different projects. So yeah, we're just working with it that way. All right, so let me press it, but that block is now done. So it kind of comes to life, doesn't it, guys? It really just kind of shines. Now, this is another reason that I believe in starch. I believe in the power of starch. We will preach it, right? When I put this together, this is just going to sit here. It's not going to like lay completely flat, no matter how much I press and starch it or press it, unless I put it under a book for a month. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to starch. And I am actually going to starch it live on camera. This is my Stay Flow mixture. I still have some Stay Flow. Once I run out of it, then we got other problems. We will deal with it at that time. And I may go ahead and starch the other blocks because now we're just waiting. Because I'm not going to be able to sew this other block in 9 minutes. This next block is going to be a little bit more detailed. I'm just glad I've already got it cut out, so it's not super hard. And when I starch, I do also a 20,000 pound hydraulic press, right? I could totally do that. Oh, my puppy dog was supposed to go hang out with my husband, and he's in here. I guess he's in here to alert me if the hubby gets back up out of bed. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So that block is now starched. It's still hot. Very, very, very incredibly hot. But I will have to trim it up later to get the corners up here. But that is part of the process of this particular block. All those tiny little squares. Tiny little squares. Cynthia says, I thought so. I signed up for it and then reality hit me. I will get super behind this summer. So I'm not sure if I want to start it now or wait until I'm settled in VA later this summer. Okay, so here's what I would do. Here's my recommendation. If you've signed up for it already and it's something that you want to eventually do, as long as you have a way to put it on your computer or put all the blocks on a flash drive that you're going to keep up with, then go ahead and sign up for it and go ahead and download. Because you could then start this later on and still be just fine. I have a whole bunch of starch that just landed in one particular spot and I don't want it to make a mess. Okay. All right, I got the big piece off. I got the big piece of starch off. And part of it is this will also, make my iron need to be cleaned, but that's okay. Ollie says, I know a lady that used a 10,000 pound crank press. Didn't work for her though. Oh no. I do want one of those heat presses. I agree, save the blocks and sew it at our leisure. Yes. Nanette is one of the ones who has this, Cynthia. If you are in the, I think you're in the Facebook group. Nanette posted pictures of her progress on the 365 quilt out and put on her design wall so you guys could see it. All right, so this one is now pressed and it is stiff. It is not going anywhere on its own. I heavily starched that one. I didn't mean to go that heavy, but that's okay. But this is, even though it's the 365 quilt block challenge or quilt challenge, I do not actually know anyone who did it in a year. Everyone that I know who has made one, it has taken them more than 1 year to do. But it's a fantastic skill builder quilt. You're always going to learn something new as you go. The blocks get progressively more difficult. Every year the bonus blocks change as to when they're offered, just based off of the holiday. I don't even know when Easter was the year I downloaded it. So I don't know when I'm going to hit Easter. Might follow the same time this year, but I don't know. So we'll see. All right, so this block is now pressed and starched as well. So now we have done 3 blocks for the day, 3 blocks for the night. And let's see. So we got 1, 2, and 3. So that's not too bad for an evening's worth of work. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let's see. Rita says that she's been signed up since January, but still trying to figure it out. So when you go to the site, you have to go, there's like a teachable something or other. Let me see if I can pull it real quick while I'm talking to you guys. I don't know if I can or not. My internet has been doing some funky stuff lately. 365 challenge. I've already signed up, so right, and I'm already enrolled in the course, so let me log in. And I don't know which email address I used, guys. Okay, apparently I got that right. Let's see. And what do I have? Okay. I have my number. So once you log into the Teachable site, you do have it up? Okay, fantastic. Let's see. Cynthia says she hasn't opened the email confirmation yet, but I will download the blocks tomorrow. Yes, you need to get started on it, at least on the downloading. Tons of take great pattern blocks themselves. Okay, so when you go into the course for it, there is, okay, printing blocks is going to take you to Adobe. Presumed knowledge. Okay, so as you scroll down, as you scroll down on the side, like January 1st, there's that block. And under each page, like under the screenshot of the page, there's a thing that will say download, and it will have a link that you can click. Ooh, she now has hand piecing. She didn't have that when I downloaded mine. So I did not know that there was that. But you can go, I did all the machine piecing anyway. I would never do it hand piecing. But according to Nanette, once we get like 3 or so months in, the others start to disappear. Now, it looks like I have access to January 1st through December 31st. So you might be able to download all of the blocks and not partially wait or anything like that. So you could do it that way. I don't know whether or not you can, like, if sitting there with it in front of you will work for you, but it's there's so much to it. There is, but it is all 100% free, which is fantastic. I love free. I love free. So that's tonight, guys. I'm not gonna have, like, I don't have anything else for you other than that. So I plan sometime tomorrow, we are going to pick up where we left off with the candy corn project. Whatever you guys want to call it. This is the strip set that I pulled off the wall. Yes, right, Rita? So this is what I pulled off the wall. This is the Sedona Sunset candy corn related project. So if you guys are wondering what that is, that's what I've been working on. So sometime tomorrow I will probably be doing a live. I've got sashing started on almost all of them. Candy corn fire. I've got sashing started on all of them now, all the way through the small ones, except for the wonky ones. So I may lay this out tomorrow morning, see where I'm at, see what I need to do, and then we may pick up for a couple of hours and work on it for a couple of hours tomorrow. So it is 10 o'clock before my neighbor gets mad at me and starts banging on the ceiling. Let me go ahead and sign off of here, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate you being here with me tonight and hanging out with me. It's been a fabulous Sunday evening. Thank you for checking out Jess's channel over at So Blessed by Jess, and William over at My So-Called Life earlier. I know they greatly appreciate the views as well. If you've not hit that thumbs up button, please do that before you leave. And just watch out. I will try to put a notification in the community tab tomorrow to let you guys know kind of what time I'm thinking, with like a couple hours lead time, so you guys know kind of when I'm gonna get on live tomorrow. So thank you for being here. Y'all have a great evening. If you've not already touched and petted some fabric or please do that. And as always, I will see you